I don't know if I've ever seen anything where the pressure was higher on more guys. And I could start at the top of the bill. Dustin and Justin are interchangeable for number one contender any way you want to do it. Any way, anytime, short notice, long notice, this guy's champ, this guy's the champ, this guy comes back. Any way you want to do it, you could put Dustin or Justin in. If Justin lost, he won't return to that conversation. Now, if Dustin loses, everything's fine. But these guys are 1-1. I mean, the one thing that's come out of this weekend that's weird, just historically speaking, is that nobody's talking about rubber match. And I don't know that they would go to a rubber match. I'm just telling you, historically speaking, it would be suggested. And there was so much respect given to those two fighters specifically that I think that's what precluded anybody from even bringing up the rubber match. Hey, no, onward with these guys. Something bigger. All right, come down off of that fight. Jan Blahovich might be the best 205-pounder in the world. He might be. But he's also 41. If he doesn't win, he will never be discussed for a championship again. Oh, by the way, when his contract comes up, he's going to get released. If he doesn't win, right? That's just what happens when you're over 40. We understand these things. Tough stuff. Derrick Lewis goes out there and fights and reveals to us it's his last fight. Now, what you guys misunderstood is thinking that Derrick played hardball and bet on himself. He did not. He wasn't offered a contract extension. That's the real story there. So, big deal, right? Had he lost that fight, the extension that he already wasn't offered, I mean, you see, right? It's an interesting spot. Getting a deal done with a guy that's done as much and is in his position and cost as much, right? It's a really hard thing to do. But when a rival organization just signed Francis Ngannou, who has no opponent, all of a sudden a guy like Derrick Lewis' value starts to go up just to keep him in a certain position. But that was still riding on it. Tony Ferguson. 6 in a row going into this. Didn't go his way, but those were the best 6 guys in the world. And it's just a high-pressure situation. We understand that. And Kevin Holland and Chiesa. And that's the one that I just want to speak to you guys for. That could have gone either way. If you watch the fight, you could Chael, come on, that's not a fair thing to say. That was pretty dominant. Well, yeah, Holland looked great. Holland has always had a problem being taken down. And this is a much deeper philosophy. And I didn't know if we were ever going to get him here. Okay? The great grapplers, and it can be any of them, the greats, go to the ground. That's true. But the misconception is that they go to guard. The greats do great work on top. From Damian Maia to Jake Shields to George St. Pierre, the greats in MMA grapplers get on top. And Kevin Holland has respected that sport of jiu-jitsu, his coach, Travis Lutter, so much that he's wanted to do it in show guard, and he's conceded top position, and it has cost him time and time again. Not only did Kevin Holland defend the takedowns of an excellent wrestler, Kevin Holland got on top. It's a whole nother game. If you know submissions and you can get on top, you're a handful. Chiesa's had problems in the past, specifically with a Darce choke. And Kevin Holland's arms are so long that it's a big problem, right? There's certain moves. How do you stop that move? And the answer is stay out of it in the first place. And it's annoying to hear. And it's almost a joke, and you laugh. You laugh through your tears of frustration. But it's still the truth. Like there's some moves they don't have counters for. I can show you how to defend a Darce choke, but I can tell you before I even get to the defense that if it happens in the first round when you're dry and not sweaty, your likelihood of getting out are limited. So you have a guy like Kevin Holland that goes out there. He clearly studied Chiesa. He has told us that he's going to work on his wrestling defense. I hate that. I hate it. I didn't want him to do it. Went out to the AKA to work with Daniel Cormier, but he only spent a week. Okay, I can live with it. I can live with it because nothing's going to happen in that week. You want him to get good at wrestling defense? You purely work on wrestling offense. Don't ever work on defense. Don't ever work on a sprawl. Don't ever work on a side whizzer and hand fighting. Where the head goes, pressure in the back, control with your hips. Guys, I'm not being literal, but I'm being pretty close. I'm being 90-10 literal. You want to get good at wrestling defense, work 90% wrestling offense. Go take the other guy down. You won't ever have to worry about being taken down. It's what Kevin Holland did. It was a big surprise. So where do we go from here? What does it mean? Well, Kevin Holland grabs the microphone, burns the house down, tells everybody he's taking himself back up to 185. I was going to do it, guys. I was going to give you the quote. I chickened out. I don't think that I should give you the quote. I think you can only get it from him. He's going to take himself back up to 185. I'm sticking with it. I like him at 185. He's too tall for 170, and he's hurting himself. There was a fight recently where Kevin Holland, like fight week, said, hey, can we do it at 175? The guy said no. And Kevin's like, well, I don't care. I can make 170 anyway. Like, he just blew right past it, but I stored it away. And it will cut down on your years. You would be stunned how few people that you've seen fight retired because of the fighting. They retired because of the scale. And nobody has ever come out and told you that. I'm retiring because I don't want to do the work that it takes to get here. But that's the truth. It is a fight. It is a battle. You think a guy fights 3 times a year? Competes 3 times a year. He is fighting nonstop. He's hungry. He's cannibalizing his own body. He's burning so many calories and he can't take them in. I mean, I'm just sharing with you. Good for Kevin Holland for acknowledging it and doing it now. I'm proud of him. And within that fight, Chiesa was returning after a 2-year layoff. That was a comeback fight. I did not expect the best Michael Chiesa. I did pick Michael Chiesa. But I was well aware, having done comebacks myself, it's not the best of you. Chiesa took his gloves off after the fight, which signifies retirement. Now, Henry Cejudo took his gloves after his last fight. There ended up being a back and forth over a coat, and he changed his mind before they got the microphone to him. So, Chiesa took his gloves off, and there ended up not being a microphone for him, and he took the gloves and walked out of the back. So I had to go to Danny Rubenstein. I had to go right to Chiesa's manager. I said, Rube, what's going on here? Saw those gloves come off. He said, no. He said, Chael, pure coincidence. He said he was just something to do, get those back to the commission so he can move on. Said he wasn't considering retirement. And I think that's right. I don't think when you come back after 2 years that you should hold yourself to a very specific standard, particularly when you're caught in one position that nobody else could have gotten out of either. So I just kind of wanted to bring that full circle. Kevin Holland made very much the right decision. Kevin Holland also didn't get taken down for the first time. Kevin Holland didn't concede that position. As a matter of fact, he went and got on top himself. It was amongst Kevin's great performances. It was the right decision to go 185 pounds, and it was the right decision by Michael Chiesa to chalk that up to first time back. Keep those gloves, because you're going to need them next time.